Hello, everyone. I'm Daniele from 20 Squares, and so for those who don't know 20 Squares, we do consulting on like economics matters in Ethereum, from mechanism design, market design, auditing of economic mechanisms, and all kinds of interesting R&D on economics mechanisms. So today I'm gonna tell you about something in the broad context of pre-confirmations. Has anyone here ever heard about pre-confirmations? Okay, that's not important. We're not gonna be needing that. But yeah, so, okay, splitting the block. What do I mean? Well, first let's have a little introduction and plan of the talk. So the problem we're trying to address is that currently block space is allocated monolithically. So basically, after the merge, under PBS, a validator can auction off the possibility of building their block to other external third-party builders. And so the whole block is sold over to these builders. We're gonna explore if this is the actual best way to allocate a block or a block space, and we're gonna explore our proposal for an alternative design. Actually, this is a bit more than a proposal. So this is work we have done with Manifold Finance, and basically XGA, the product that spun out of it, it's been on testnet for a long time, and we also have run some experiments on mainnet, and we'll be back in like very little time. Okay, so, and we'll also see if, go through the mechanics of this proposal, but also see how this can be implemented, and we'll see that this can be implemented without a lot of changes on the protocol level. So that's good because this means quick adoption. Okay, so let's first have some preliminary takeaways about the current state of block building in Ethereum. So there are very few dominating block builders. We're gonna see in the next slides that 2, 3 dominating block builders actually build 90+% of the blocks that are built on Ethereum, which is concerning on the centralization side. But I mean, PBS, proposer builder separation, was actually, devised in order to prevent centralization also on the validator level. So the initial idea by Flashbots was, okay, builder centralization is gonna happen anyways, so let's separate builders from validators, from proposers, and so the validator set is gonna be, decentralized as ever, and yeah, and builders are gonna centralize and whatever. But maybe this wasn't a good idea in hindsight. Also, the infrastructure has become very concentrated. I'm not saying centralized, it's more concentrated on the type of tools. Also centralized a bit. So, for example, most of the validators nowadays run MEV Boost. And so it's like 90+%. And a core piece of the MEV Boost infrastructure is relays, and there are 6 dominant relays, and the top 2 actually build more than 50%. Relay more than 50% of the actual blocks that end up being built, and also relay don't make a lot of money. Actually, most relays make none, and having a core part of the infrastructure, which is expensive to run, basically make 0 money. It's, doesn't seem so stable in the long term and viable. We have also some problems on the user side. So one is, at this point, the interface between L1 and L2 is a bit confusing for users. It should be hidden from them. But we're not really gonna address that in full. And also, like, user needs are pretty much heterogeneous. Like, not all transactions are made equal, and they don't have equal needs, but we're basically throwing everything in the same market. So, I mean, we also need to address this problem. Okay, so how is monolithic? Okay, how is block space allocated monolithically today? So, at the moment, as I was saying, a couple of builders are basically build most of the blocks, and they usually care about only the fillet of the block, the top part, the most important and profitable part of the block, because either like big builders are basically integrated builder searchers, so they have to run their own like HFT routines and whatever, do arbitrages, CX, DEX, whatever, or they're like auctioning off on their, I mean, the top spots of the blocks to other searchers, competitive searchers. And nowadays, the protocol and I mean, rather than the protocol, like the MEV boost protocol, only allows to sell a whole block. But at the same time, transactions compete for block space. Okay. And also, there's a huge risk of verticalization of actors along the value chain. So, I mean, if I'm a very good and profitable builder, and we're already seeing that, it makes sense to also spin up some validators. And then when I get to propose, I don't have to participate in the MEV boost auction rat race. I just can build my block, only take care about being as profitable as possible, and I'm doing actually better than having to bribe a validator to, I mean, to actually pick my block. Okay. Also, as I was saying, not all transactions are made equal. So, yeah. For example, there are differences in valuations of position and time sensitivity for various kinds of transactions. By time sensitivity, I mean like I need to get included in this block or buy this block. By position is I need to get included in this part of the block. So, for example, position dependent and time dependent stuff is like arbitrages and stuff that usually wants to go at the top of the block. So, for example, stuff that relates to CEX, DEX arbitrages, or in general high frequency trading. But there are a lot of like time insensitive things, like swaps, for example. I need this thing to happen, but I mean, possibly in a timely manner, okay, but I don't need this to happen in this precise block. I just want to swap some tokens from for something else. Or like totally position independent, but time sensitive is rollups. I don't care about where my blob betting transaction is going to be included in the block, like positionally, but I need that to get that in by a certain time, because I need to roll up data so users can be, I mean, safe. So yeah, if block space is, if not all block space is created equal, can we sell it as different goods? And yeah, so there are various approaches that are being explored by, I mean, these can be all bunched in the like pre-confirmation space, okay? So one approach is, for example, state lock auctions, which is basically, instead of selling like positional inclusion, I'm selling like priority access to a given part of state. So I'm selling a lock to that portion of state. This is pretty hard to pull off and to price, actually. So we're not gonna go on that, but our proposal is also compatible with that. What we're talking about is actually selling different like tranches of the block as different like two different validators, not validators, builders, and I mean, by segmenting the blocks in this way, I mean, it could be more profitable, like on average. It could offer like some smoothing, for example, by virtue of like if you split the market, then and you split the builders, then, for example, the top builder is incentivized to keep the block as lean as possible in order to optimize latency, and maybe they don't want to wait too much for transactions to come in because they have to optimize for their own HFT thing, right? They have to bid for the MEV boost auction. But then, for example, we can start filling the bottom part of the block in advance. And so we can put more stuff in, we can have different valuations for it, fill blocks more efficiently. Okay. Yeah, okay. This is like all nice talk, but is this feasible? I mean, we need to basically set up a different marketplace for stuff that goes on not at the top of the block, or like that's different from MEV boost auctions. Also, what does this entail for like execution layer and then the protocol, the consensus? So XGA, our design, actually helps with this and does not require any changes at the protocol level. We have been working on this for quite some time at this point. And let me repeat, this is already on testnet. It has been on testnet for a long time, and we have run experiments on mainnets. So we're basically kind of ready to launch it. I mean, our partner is ready. Okay, so, but before telling you about like XGA, let's see how like block splitting is happening already kinda today. So as I was saying, now we have blob betting transactions. So we are separating concerns. So if I am a rollup and I need to, I mean, include like roll up my data, now I have a special kind of transaction that I can include, and they are basically priced differently than like the usual stuff that would go, I mean, normally on the mempool. But the thing is, since the block space is still sold monolithically, I still need to go and talk with a builder to get my blob bearing transaction included. And this introduces some friction, takes away some money from the validator. It's suboptimal at best. So yeah, now to XGA. Our proposal is to split the block into two parts, top and bottom. I mean, it's not important, but we're fixing the bottom part currently at 5 million gas. And both parts get allocated differently. We'll see that later. So, I mean, like the top part gets allocated through a traditional MEV boost auction, and the bottom part is auctioned off on a dedicated L2 that it's made, like purposely made in order to handle this kind of auctions and also secondary markets for this kind of stuff. So let's see the bottom part of the market. Okay, so the bottom market can be implemented in several different ways, but at this point, the design is centered around selling like the bottom part of the block in advance. So it's going to be sold in the form of gas tokens. Each token represents 100K gas. And this is like a token dimension we have figured out by running simulations and looking at the historical data. And this auction that runs on this XGA L2 actually assigns gas tokens to possibly more than one winner. So it's a multi-unit auction with multiple winners. It's a like kind of traditional capacity auction for mechanism design nerds. And so when the deadline of the traditional MEV boost auctions comes, like bottom of block bundles have to be already submitted, and you have to burn your gas tokens that you've bought in advance. So it's kind of like futures. It's not really, but I mean, you're selling gas like block space in advance, and in a sized, I mean, like quantized amount. And obviously, bundles that are submitted cannot exceed the gas token value that has been burned. Okay, then what happens? So right now, we have to have a dedicated relay for running XGA. We're working on a relay agnostic version. That's gonna come in the future. But right now, the usual MEV boost winner sends the bundle, like the block, to the dedicated XGA relay. The bottom bundle is sent to the XGA relay by the L2, where, I mean, the part that takes care of the aggregation of the bundles. And then the relay does a bit more work than a traditional relay. It merges bundles, so it basically attaches the bundle, the bottom bundle that was sold ahead of time at the bottom of the block, and takes care of all the complex accounting logic that derives from selling block space in advance. And so yeah, the design rationale is there has been a lot of talk around this kind of stuff, like inclusion pre-confirmations, and I mean, splitting the markets for block space. But it seems to us that a lot of the proposals just want to go all in. Okay, this seems like a more like we're taking it slow, right? So we're leaving the top part as is. Traditional builders, MEV boost builders, don't have to change anything except for the block size they're building for. They're building for a maximum size of 5 million less. But usually, you know, on average, this is not important. That doesn't really matter to them. The bottom part is then dedicated to a whole another market, and it's allocated differently, okay, more efficiently. And so, for example, it will, I mean, it will be suitable for all kind of positioning-sensitive transactions like blobs, like rewards distribution, all kinds of like non-position-sensitive like, transactions you can think of. The capacity can be sold ahead of time, so I mean, you can also, in the eventual presence of a secondary market in which you can resell your gas tokens you bought in advance, you can also do some kind of speculation on it. Or if you are like a traditional MEV boost builder that really needs some more space to fit their bundles in, they can buy also. I mean, there some of the tokens on the secondary market, if they end up needing them like urgently. And these basically introduces no breaking changes to the protocol. This requires only like one relay, like validators to add one relay as a priority relay. And in the future, if we want to go relay agnostic, basically some of the, I mean, some relays new relays will spin up, or some of the relays that are already existing will have to adapt a bit and run like XGA specific software. But this entails basically no changes at the protocol level. And actually, for this current version, basically we don't need also any kind of changes on the like MEV boost software. If we want to go relay agnostic, yes, we will minimal changes to MEV boost. And this allows for gradual changes and careful experimentation by just not going all in. We're keeping the infrastructure as is for now, and we can commit to more later. Okay. So, as I was saying, the bottom part of the block will be probably also, gas tokens will be also probably sold on secondary markets, which will be spun up on the L2, XGA L2. And we can always adjust the parameters of the markets, both the bottom part auction and the secondary market parameters in order to adapt to changes or observations we can make about the market. And we can probably imagine to splitting the block in further more categories. And yeah, so let's go to conclusions. So, takeaways from this talk. Block space is not allocated efficiently. The XGA, okay, is one proposal among several others to allocate block space more efficiently in a different way and split the markets. Our proposal allows for gradual change and can be extended over time. And it can be integrated with other kinds of proposals, so it's compatible with state block auctions, or with other proposals that are more involved on the protocol level, like multiple proposers or other distributed builder mechanisms. Okay, so I'm done with my talk, and thank you all for attending. If you have any questions, yeah.
We have time maybe for one question. Let me get the mic. If you can keep it short. Here you go.
Thank you. So my question is, I don't get how using such market I can still perform minor restricted value or arbitrage, because essentially if I want to get on the top of a block, my motivation is that there is either a transaction, let's say Uniswap swap, and I want to do a reverse swap before the swap,
yeah.
And then in the bottom I want to do re-reverse swap and get back into my position. But then if I only get to submit top part, I first want to make conditional bottom, and also I am targeting a particular transaction that I want to extract the value from. And I don't see how this proposal addresses this.
This is, it doesn't need to address this. It's like you're building a separate block that comes after that block. You can do all the things you've said in the bottom 25 million, in the top 25 million gas. So it's basically a block is 30 million max. Okay, we're just reserving some part, which is going to be at the bottom, but it doesn't matter. If you want to backrun your own transactions, you can do that in the top part.
That makes sense, thank you.
Awesome. I saw another hand before. Do you want to ask a question? Yeah, go.
Hi, so doesn't the L2 add a new dependency, and can this become a problem if you become the main player in the game?
Yeah, totally. We can expect, if this proposal is successful, we can expect other services like that to spin up, and then the market will differentiate. So, yeah, that's the hope.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. Let's make a final applause. And we are now closing down the morning, so please let's have a lunch at Palazzo Gravina, which is just nearby here, and we will start back again at 2. Thank you very much.